Hey folks, this is another Lazy Channel update. I'm so lazy that I don't want to render any videos, and I'm just going to literally do this as a PowerPoint with my phone pointed at it. So for the monthly Patreon Deathmatch giveaway, we started that in August, and I haven't done it since. I've been intending to. I've actually been thinking about it a lot, but I haven't come to any decisions about how to actually do it. So first of all, the way it works is patrons are inserted as AI players in some sort of competitive game, something that's going to have winners and losers, and the winner gets a free game. So I did this first with Unreal Tournament 2004, which I think worked fine. You know, I could repeat that, but I have felt stuck since then, because I don't want to just do the same game all the time, and it's hard to come up with games that work well for this format. So first of all, here are some principles, for the kinds of games that we should really be looking for this. So it should be purely bot versus bot, free-for-all gameplay. So I should not be able to influence the outcome, and the bots also should not be able to make alliances or gang up on each other. I mean, if they naturally gang up on each other, just as part of the free-for-all, that's fine. But we don't want to have unbalanced networks of alliances screwing up the final outcome. And also on that topic, it should be balanced for all participants. So in Unreal Tournament, I had to go in and edit a lot of the game files to make sure we had 3 completely identical AIs fighting each other, because the stock AIs in the game all have different personalities and different accuracies and all sorts of things. Another possibility would be some sort of system whereby someone who won the previous month, for example, has some kind of a handicap or disadvantage to make it more likely for someone new to win. One issue with a lot of games is that they are, 2 teams fighting each other. And that doesn't work for this format, because I currently have 3 patrons, and the game format should allow any number of players to enter, but exactly one of those players to win. Gameplay should also ideally last for about 5 to 15 minutes, not too short, not too long. Gameplay should reflect the content of the channel, which is the big problem with Unreal Tournament 2004. Sorry, I'm shaking so much here. And also the game should be commentatable. I should be able to have something to say about the game as it's going on. So here are problems with my existing ideas, because I have done dry runs of a lot of things, and I just haven't been happy with them. So first-person shooters, it works. It's the most clearly obvious way to do this, but it's just not in the channel's niche, and I would rather find a better solution if I can. RimWorld is what Ronan Pawn uses, but I personally don't find that very interesting, because he just spawns a whole bunch of AIs with no skills and no equipment, and then he just, launches all of these AI invasions, or, does lightning strikes and things like that. But it's just not that compelling to watch. The player AIs don't know what to do. They just kind of wander around. They often will not attack enemies. It's just not very compelling. The AI is not well suited for that style. Total War works for 2 players, but not for 3 or more. And there's no way to have a pure bot versus bot game, at least not in Empire, which is my Total War game of choice, as terribly broken as that game is. I do like it. So I would need to be on one of the teams and then try not to influence the outcome of the game. But that doesn't really work, because, the number of people on your team influences where you're placed on the map and how you're spaced out. So it just doesn't work very well. And for EU4, you can't enforce a free-for-all. The AI can always ally each other, and these things tend to be over quickly if you just create a custom world with 3 nations. It just doesn't... It's not very fun to watch. So some ideas for the future. Racing games, just like first-person shooter games, are another obvious way to do this, where you can have many people enter and exactly one person win. But again, it's still not really in the channel's niche, and we'd have to find a game where you can actually just have an AI versus AI race. Crusader Kings 2, I don't actually know how to play. I've watched a couple of Let's Plays, and I I feel like that game would have been much more easy to understand when it first came out, but as it is, it sounds like so many features have been grafted on with DLC, and so many things have been nearly deprecated over time that it strikes me as being something of a mess. And I don't really know how I would set up victory conditions for this. You know, if actually, I don't even know how many in-game characters you're allowed to create. I don't know if it's just your starting ruler and that's it, or what. And even that requires DLC, as far as I know. Civilization games, that's a possibility, but it would take way too long. That's the main thing. And also, I don't know if there's such thing as an AI versus AI game. I think the player might have to play. Majesty, I think, is another fairly strong contender. In Majesty, if you're not familiar with it, the player basically does the town builder type thing, but all of your heroes have their own AIs, and you can't tell them what to do. So in that sense, it's kind of like a Dwarf Fortress sort of game. Where again, the player is setting the basic plans and saying, okay, we're going to build this building here and so on, but you can't control your units. You can't tell them what to do. You can't tell them to retreat. You can't tell them to support each other. They all do their own thing, which is really awesome gameplay, but there's no guaranteed winner. There's no particularly good way to set a victory condition. It could be last person standing. That's the closest thing I can think of, really, that might work. But yeah, those are all the ideas I have for right now. I really want to have a game that will reflect the content of the channel, like I said, and that's what I've been paralyzed on. I've sat down several times to record one of these Patreon Deathmatch giveaways and done a dry run and thought, like, wow, that really didn't work well. This isn't going to be good content. And then I thought, okay, I'm just going to scrap it, come back to this later, we'll get it done. And it's gotten to the point where we're getting close to the end of October, and I haven't even done September's yet, so I know I'm far behind. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Thank you. So good night, sleep tight, and don't let your fellow patrons bite, I guess. Bye-bye.